Story 1. When it is too thick and there are so many other ingredients stacked on it that you cannot actually take a bite. Story 2. When there are so many layers that it has to be held together with a skewer, you end up having to eat it in pieces as it has all fallen apart. Story 3. Those massive stacked burgers are physically impossible to bite into. I'm 5 feet 2 inches tall with a normal-sized mouth, not a snake that can unhinge its jaw. Just because it looks impressive doesn't mean it's practical. Story 4. Tomatoes on a burger make as much sense to me as oysters in cereal. Please remove those soggy, bun-destroying, taste-ruining, texture-obscuring items from my burger. I understand burger toppings are a matter of personal preference, and I don't have an issue with those who enjoy tomatoes. Story 5. For me, there was so much sauce and liquid that it doesn't stay together when you take a bite. I don't mind sauce, a stacked burger, or a bit of a mess, but I shouldn't need a third hand to keep it from falling apart. Story 6. 1. Being so tall, it's impossible to take a bite from top to bottom. Being so messy with sauces and toppings that it falls apart and soaks the bottom bun into a soggy mess. Story 7. A Michelin chef. I am the butcher at a high-end steakhouse. The new chef requested an 80-20 grind dry-aged burger blend. Not a problem. I have a ready supply of dry-aged trim and fat, as well as suet. I made the blend, and they cooked a burger that everyone liked. Then the chef entered. That's too lean. He proceeded to make another burger that was almost medium. I watched him smash this burger into a pancake. I took a piece. It's dry. I want a 65-35 mix. He then complained it was too fatty. Story 8. Most other ingredients in a well-made burger can be tolerated, but tomatoes always manage to ruin all the good work. Story 9. Too much wet stuff makes it slide apart when you pick it up and bite it. The last couple of bites are a mess. Story 10. A burger is ruined if it is cooked at a farm-to-table burger bar by a balding man with a neck beard wearing black disposable gloves. That will be $25 for the burger, $10 for truffle fries, and $8 for a hazy IPA. It is excessive to pay $50 for heartburn. Story 11. Cutting into it to see if it is cooked. Too cold cheese. Avocado. Most tomatoes, especially unripe, wet, unseasoned tomatoes. Wet lettuce. Not enough salt. Too much salt. Chunky onions. Paying more than $10 for a burger and fries at a place without table service. Story 12. Tomato. I know I'm the odd one out, but I don't understand how people enjoy a tomato the size of their burger. I eat a burger for the patty, not a beef salad on bread. Story 13. A bad bun could be cold, old, charred too much, or just plain poor. It's like pizza crust. It can make or break the dish. Story 14. The lettuce is the cause of all the problems. The soggy bun is due to not drying the lettuce after rinsing. The top half slides away from the bottom because the lettuce acts as a barrier. Story 15. If it's a cheeseburger, I want ketchup inside, not mayonnaise. I'm not sure why, but recently the local food places have been using mayonnaise instead of ketchup, and it ruins it for me. Story 16. Being 12 inches tall, there comes a point when the patty is too big, topped with too many items. A burger was already perfected, and all these burgers with fried macaroni and cheese buns topped with 10 different ingredients and steak sauce are just reinventing the wheel. Story 17. A lot of lettuce. I don't understand why burger places always put so much lettuce on burgers. I order my burgers without lettuce, not because I dislike it, but because no matter how I request it, they always pile it on. Story 18. The thickness of the patty or the type of tomato does not matter. I just prefer not to have any tomatoes on my burger. Story 19. Tomato adds moisture to something that does not need it. I apologize to anyone who likes tomatoes. Nobody is perfect. Story 20. When you take a bite and half the food falls out the other side, it frustrates me and I no longer want it. Story 21. The first thing you taste in a burger is the bun. Without a good bun, your burger will always be subpar. Story 22. Tomato. I do not need flavorless cold slime on my burger. I can tolerate lettuce if I have to, and it is crunchy. Story 23. Tomatoes. My opinion is that most people include them because we have been conditioned to add tomatoes to sandwiches, subs, and burgers. Rise up, people. Story 24. When people season the meat with something other than salt and pepper, or worse, add ingredients like chopped onions or cheese into the patty instead of on top. Story 25. A slice of tomato with the fibrous core in the middle of my ground beef, mayonnaise, lettuce, and onion sandwich. Story 26. Not seasoning the meat can ruin the experience. I have had burgers that would have been fantastic if the meat had been seasoned properly. Instead, they relied on the toppings. At that point, I might as well have a burger with just toppings. This seems to be the case for most restaurant burgers. Story 27. A burger should be wide, not tall. I do not want to unhinge my jaw like a snake. Additionally, eggs do not belong on a burger. Story 28. Cheese sauce was a trend where they poured cheese all over. Story 29. When they ask if you want lettuce, tomato, and onion, they leave it open-faced and you have to assemble it like a chef. The lettuce is always a huge, unmanageable leaf. Story 30. Many people mention poor quality or conditions as factors that ruin a burger. For me, it's pickles. They overpower the taste of the burger. It might as well just be a pickle burger with nothing else on it. Story 31. Bread that is too hard can hurt to bite into, such as burgers served in a baguette bun. Food should not be painful to eat. Conversely, bread that is too soft can disintegrate under the weight of the other ingredients. A famous hot dog place called Pink's in Los Angeles also serves burgers, and one of their burgers is called Jaws. The Jaws burger features a large Polish bacon chili cheeseburger, 1 grilled Polish sausage, hamburger, 3 strips of bacon, lettuce, tomatoes, and mayonnaise. I ordered Jaws once. The bun disintegrated almost immediately after I tried to pick up the burger. I ended up using a spork to eat what became a messy pile of various meats. It looked unappealing. Story 32. A large piece of tomato is acceptable, and 1 or 2 thin slices are fine. However, when the tomato chunk is half an inch thick, it ruins the experience for me. Story 33. The inside of the burger is too soggy, causing the contents to slide around and become more displaced with every bite. Eventually, you end up with sauce on your hands because you try to hold the onions and lettuce in place while eating. By the last bite, it's such a jumbled mess that you are left holding a wad of ingredients. Story 34. I like regular non-pickled cucumbers, but they are absolutely atrocious in a burger. Also, mayonnaise. I avoid places that can't be bothered to make a proper hamburger dressing and just use mayonnaise. It makes me nauseous just thinking about it. Story 35. When the bun is done, it is strange and inappropriate bread. I need to be able to eat it. Nothing hard, nothing with a shell, nothing crumbly, and nothing greasy. Story 36. Tomato and mayonnaise. If I wanted a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich, I would order one. A soggy tomato ruining my burger's structural integrity is unacceptable. Story 37. Pink in the middle. It is not a steak, and I certainly didn't order tartare. Secondly, when it's stacked so high with unnecessary items that you can't fit it in your mouth. Story 38. The burger itself. If it's thick like a slab of flavorless meatloaf or one of those frozen, perfectly circular, bland burgers. The best burger is a thin, smashed burger with crispy edges. Story 39. Pickles. I can't stand the brine. Even a pickle on the side is unacceptable because if it touches the burger or fries, they become contaminated and inedible. Story 40. Usually, tomatoes are not enjoyable. In my experience, 99.99% of tomatoes, unless homegrown, are tasteless, have a terrible texture, and do not contribute positively to a meal. I would prefer not to have them at all. Story 41. This is an unpopular opinion, but I still want to express my frustration with the idea that every burger needs to have salad on it. Salad is fine on its own, but not in a warm meal and certainly not on a burger. Story 42. I am going to receive downvotes, but I dislike onions. I tell people I am allergic to them, and while they do give me gas, the truth is I simply hate them. Story 43. Too much cheese. A burger should have balanced ingredients that complement each other, just like any other cuisine. Story 44. The bad trend of restaurants that pour sauce or cheese over the entire burger makes it impractical to eat by hand. Story 45. Excess lettuce and other ingredients make it hard to tell when you reach the patty. If you are in Seattle, try Katsu Burger at least once. That is one example of a ruined burger. Story 46. When the patty is too thick, there's a reason that popular fast food restaurants known for making better burgers use thinner beef patties. Thinner patties do not dry out. If one thin patty isn't enough meat for you, consider adding a second thin patty. Story 47. Soggy bun. Makes your hands messy when you eat it as everything slides out. Possibly an American issue. Double or triple meat. Story 48. Pickles and onions. I know I just don't like the combination on a burger, but add some onion, cilantro, and lime in an asada taco and I love it. However, I can't stand pickles on anything. Story 49. Too much condiment. I love Burger King's Whopper, but I always have to order it without ketchup and with light mayonnaise because their sauces are not thick enough to hold both. Story 50. Too many toppings, especially items like ketchup or mayonnaise, can cause the burger to slide and fall apart. Story 51. Subpar ingredients do not need to be fancy as long as everything is fresh. There is nothing worse than limp lettuce, pale warm tomatoes, and sad floppy onions on a bun that should have been discarded days ago. To me, the joy of eating a burger is all about the harmony and contrast of textures and flavors. Crisp, cold vegetables on a fresh bun over a hot burger patty and melted cheese. Story 52. When there are almost frozen ingredients in it, such as cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, and onions, I prefer those vegetables at room temperature or cooked. When the bun is cold, not toasted or steamed. When the meat is too thick, overcooked, or dry. When there is not enough sauce or condiment. Story 53. Slim tortilla-thin buns, unpleasant tomatoes. Additionally, when it arrives in my hand, it is half the size of the picture. Story 54. Tomatoes are not needed. Any unnecessary wet vegetables, especially when they make the bun soggy. Dry pickles and onions are all a burger really needs. After that, anything goes: barbecue sauce, a hard fried egg, ham, sausage, and any cheese except for soft cheeses. Save those for the Europeans. Story 55. A block of meatloaf stuck between 2 pounds of unspeakable bread, with 2 inches of toppings, all soaked in 1 gallon of grease and 34 tablespoons of condiments. It must be eaten in the shower. Story 56. When they pour cheese or sauce on the entire outside of the burger, like in those black-gloved reels. Thanks, I wanted nacho cheese all over the bun. Story 57. Bad bread. Burgers should have a proper soft, fluffy, buttered brioche bun, lightly toasted on the inside to retain moisture from sauces. If you cannot taste all layers of a burger in one bite, the burger is poorly constructed and too large. Story 58. A substandard bun, a burger that falls apart and excessive toppings. Story 59. A burger needs something light to complement the meat, and a slice or 2 of tomato is perfect. When selecting my burger from several options, I always choose the one that includes tomato as an ingredient. Story 60. Overcooking or undercooking can affect your meal. Undercooking can make you sick, while overcooking can result in a tough texture. The key to a perfectly cooked burger is to use a meat thermometer and cook it to a minimum of 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Then remove it from the heat. Story 61. For me, it's sauce of any kind. Melted cheese, lettuce, tomato, and a nicely cooked burger mean I don't need or want any more moisture. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.